Hi, guys. Good evening. Hope you're having a great evening and all of you are doing really, really well. A very good evening from the Coding Invaders family, right? Guys, please confirm if you're actually being able to see me. If you could put up a yes, if you could actually hear me well. We'll just wait for maybe 2, 3 more minutes before we actually go live and actually start discussing things. I'm seeing a lot of messages coming in from a lot of our learners who are very, very eager to ask a lot of questions, I feel, right? So, guys, in the meanwhile, while we have all our learners joining in and the people who were supposed to be in the webinar, right? Right. So, I mean, before we do that, right? Let's get introduced. Let's get introduced. Let's get to know each other a little, right? Right. Why don't you write me your name? I can actually see your name. Where are you from? How old are you? Why don't you write it out here? Hello, guys. Hello. 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 Good evening. How are you? I hope all of you are doing really, really well. I feel you have a lot of questions today. Okay, you're from Pondicherry. That's amazing. Amazing. That's a difficult name to pronounce. Okay, amazing. Hi, Krupa. Hi, Shivakumar. Hi, Santosh. Hi, Varsha. Hi, Prabhakaran. Hi, Anas. Amazing. Amazing. Great. Guys, could you also, if you could also add, how old are you? Why don't I get to know? I mean, let's get to know a little about you. Yes, guys, we've already gone live. Good evening. While others join in, while you write yourselves, right, let me give you a little introduction of my own, right? My name is Ikshit Jaiswal. So if that's difficult, that's perfectly okay. You can call me IJ, right? You can call me IJ. I'm a data enthusiast myself. I'm a trainer, right? I have done more than 1,000+ academic consultation into IT courses. So here I am, as curious as you are, to have our guest speaker here, ask him a lot of questions and make sure all of us learn and have good understanding and learnings out of this. I That's amazing. It's amazing to see the number of you participating today. That's amazing. Amazing. So why don't I send out a poll and you can actually put in that poll as to how old are you? Amazing. You've got a lot of people who are between 20 to 30. Some of you are between 15 to 20. Okay. That's good to see your interest into the seminar as well. Amazing, guys. We'll just wait for 1 more minute. 1 more minute. Hoping everybody joins in, and thereafter, let's go ahead and start. I'll introduce myself again for people who joined in immediately. My name is Ikshit, right? You can call me IJ, and I'm a data enthusiast myself. I am a trainer and have done more than 1,000+ academic IT consultations, academic career consultations for that matter, right? And I'm based out of Pune. Hi, Swapnil. Hi, Srinithi. Hi, Vishnu. Amazing crowd. Sahil, hi from Delhi. Jai Grace, amazing. Salim, oh, wonderful. Amazing, guys. That's perfectly wonderful. Perfectly wonderful. Okay, I'm 25. Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. Guys, also, I would want to know a little more about you. So, okay, please help me understand what language are you more comfortable in? Is it Hindi? Is it English? Why don't we, launch a poll again and you fill it in for me? Amazing. An amazing inclination towards English for that matter. Amazing. Hi, Logesh. Hi, Vignesh. Hi, Shasta. Perfectly, guys. Amazing. Let's start with our seminar today. So, here we are looking at a very unique problem, right? Let's discuss the problem first. So, in today's world, a lot of us wants to move. Okay, so before I actually put out this question, right? Why are you attending this webinar? What's your motive behind attending this webinar? Why are you here? You're here, giving in your time. That's amazing. Why don't you write and let me know as to why you're going to be in a webinar? You're wanting to move towards IT as a source, right? Why IT, right? Is it because of the money, because of the growth, or because of your interest? What is it like? Switching from commerce. Oh, amazing. Okay, you've got people. Okay, amazing. It's your interest. That's amazing. Amazing. We got Sahil, Radhika switching from commerce. Okay. We got a lot of people switching in from commerce. Cool, guys. Cool. Understood. Gives me, that's amazing kind of attachment and that's amazing interaction here, right? Going on and discussing things ahead. Here we are to solve a very specific problem. So a lot of us want to move into IT. A lot of us, in fact, me as well. But I tend to understand this, right? Which field to choose, how to choose that field. I'm just here to listen. Oh, amazing. So I want to enter into IT and looking for the courses. It's 81%. I'm already in IT, want to expand my horizon. Amazing. Just here to listen. Okay, amazing. I hope all of you participate because if you do, there are a lot of free giveaways that you will enjoy at the end of the day. English is a preferable source of language. I've got people from English, I've got people from Tamil, hey, sorry, I am well versed with English, Bangla. Yeah, Bangla is something that I can take up. I can talk about Hindi. So, okay, I'll prefer English. I'll go slow. I'll mix it with some bit of Hindi here and there. I'm pretty sure all of us would be able to understand, right? Come on, amazing. Now, let's talk of the problem in total. Let's talk of the problem in total. So, here we are trying to discuss in this world where we get to hear a lot about layoffs, a lot about recession, we do not tend to understand how do we choose which field to choose specifically when we see mass firings and mass layoffs being going on. So here we'll be joined by our guest speaker today wherein we would want to talk about it. So let's follow a few things, guys. If you're interacting with the speaker right here, right, you can put it out on the chat, but if you have specific questions and answer, please park it in Q&A so that we don't miss out on it. Hey, sorry, Mutishwari. I am very sorry. I have no idea on Tamil. I can mix it with Hindi and English. Right? Cool. Amazing. Amazing. That's an amazing crowd for that matter. That's an amazing set of people trying to interact. Thank you. Cool. Now, talking about the problem, so we want to decide, we basically want to understand which field to choose and how to choose it, who's the right people to suggest. So, should I go to my friends? Should I go to my teacher? Should I hear, should I read about it on the Google? Should I actually do it and should I actually, do all these projects and then tend to understand how should I basically understand what part to take up? Right. So, here we are trying to answer that specific question, right? So, before we go on with the session and before we ask all those questions, those curiosity filled questions to our guest learner, right? We have a very specifically designed course that I would want to talk to you about. We call it Start in IT. Start in IT, for that matter, answers a very specific problems. So why don't you basically do some practical exposure projects within 6 different branches of IT and then decide which field do you want to opt in for? Make sense? I'll repeat it quickly. So what if you could actually opt in for 6 different weeks, 6 different branches of IT, right? And then decide which branch do you want to specialize in. And that too comes in with an 100% on paper job guarantee, right? Who does this job guarantee work for? It works for people who are above 21 years of age, right? Have completed their graduation, right? And can speak a basic level of English. And can speak and write a basic level of English. And definitely who are ready to commit good hours within a week. I'm trying to read through it. Amazing. You've got people from artificial intelligence background switching from mechanical. Amazing. You've done an MBA in business analyst. That's an amazing set. So, guys, here I give you an opportunity to register yourself in case you're looking for such courses. In case you're looking for such courses, I'll make an offer here, right? If you want to call right away from a counselor for a course which gets anything between 11,490 per month, you'll get it discounted at 7,690 per month. The price after the webinar would be inflated to 8,290. So in case you want to go ahead and register, you can register there and you'll have the link in the chat itself. Okay. Definitely. Raja, if you could actually park this question, it's an amazing question. Let's answer that. Guys, just a confirmation again. Are you being able to hear me and see me clearly? Amazing. Amazing. Perfectly. 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 Guys, I repeat again. If you have questions, I can find a lot of interesting questions here. So why don't you park it in the Q&A and we can actually take it up one by one. Cool. And here you can actually you'll find a link here if you're actually looking for a course which exposes you on which fields to choose into IT and how to do it. Please fill in your details. You'll be called by a counselor, an amazing academic counselor. You can ask in your questions. If you like the course, you can actually go ahead at a discounted price. Amazing. Perfectly. So I'll just wait for a few more seconds until I try and understand, right? I want money. Yes, yes, yes. That is what all of us want. Hey, Javed, that's an amazing question again. Why don't you park it up and let's discuss that? Why don't you park your questions there and let's discuss those questions? Cool. Moving on. Not only you, but let's say you have your friends joining in along with you, right? For every referral that you bring in, right? Because see, learning as a process does not go to alone, right? If it is done in groups, it makes it much more easy and pleasurable, right? So why don't you basically go ahead and bring in some of your friends, and for every friend that you bring up, as a thank you, we'll also credit your account with a 5,000 rupees. Perfectly. Yeah, I'll talk about the course in total, but as of now, let's move on. We already have our guest speaker available, so not wasting much of time, I would want to move to him talking about things. So please keep your questions ready and let's move on. Right? Introducing you to a bit understanding about Coding Invaders itself. Coding Invaders does not share its history within India only. We are an international institute with more than 7 years of experience of training more than 22,000 plus students in Central Europe. So, in fact, we are the biggest, one of the biggest online institutes based out of Central Europe, right? Wherein we have learners from more than 40 plus countries, right? And 22,000 plus students who have already passed out. We have got 100 plus companies wherein we are attached with them for their upskilling program, right? Wherein we have also seen anything between 30 to 400% salary hike after completion of the course. I understand, Maria, but it's important to have a basic understanding of English, which would be important for the webinar and the course going ahead. So I'll try and see what can be done perfectly. What will you learn today? The most important things. Why should you actually go ahead and spend your time here? First question that we would want to answer is why do you want to enter IT today? What is the future of IT market in India and the world? And six most in-demand professions in IT. Cool. Moving on. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. There's an amazing amount of comments. I completely understand, guys, that a lot of you do not understand English. Tamil is your basic source of language, but moving into IT, English becomes a bare essential because you get to work with people from outside India as well. So a lot of projects from outside India, right? Also, what do you get by, let's discuss what you get by the end of this webinar. You get to ask all your questions. You get to ask your questions live with a speaker here. You get a certificate of participation, right? You get a special offer for our IT profession from scratch to employment course, and that to a job guarantee course, and that too on paper job guarantee course. And yes, I promise you that one another thing, a cool trick if you stay by, a cool Python trick if you stay by towards the end of the webinar. Right? Guys, moving on. And finally, something very amazing that I think most of you would be waiting for. From all of you that register, from all of you who register, one of a lucky winners who would be selected randomly, that's where the cool trick lies, right? Would actually be given access to this job guarantee course all free of cost. Yes, it's completely free of cost, no money paid. So you would have the link. You can see the link right here on the webinar itself. Why don't you start registering? I'll wait for 20 to 30 seconds before we exactly go ahead and invite our learner. But in case you're looking for a course and that too for free, you should very well go ahead and register. AI and DS, yes, AI and DS is there, yes. Amazing. They've got people from different fields. Sundar, why don't you go ahead and offer this question to our speaker? I think he would love to answer this. Amazing. Amazing. The registrations are increasing. I'll just wait for 10 more seconds before we exactly move on. Amazing. Guys, introducing to you our speaker for the day, Adarsha Shivananda.
Hey, hi everyone.
Hi, Adarsh. Hi. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks a lot, Ishjit, for having me today.
Perfectly.
Excited to talk to everyone and share my experience here today.
Yes, Adarsh. So all of us know you. It has been a repeat and amazing journey with you already, right? But we have a crowd who might not know you. So why don't you introduce yourself a little, right? Your accomplishments are amazing, but we would want to hear it of you.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Ishjit. So basically, as you see, currently I'm working as data science manager in a top CPG company.
Okay.
I have close to decade experience in AI, ML, NLP, deep learning. Everything comes under the umbrella of AI, and I already can see a lot of AI related questions, right?
Yes.
And I definitely will answer those questions, right? So basically, before that, I completed my BE from MS Ramaiah Institute of Technology, Bangalore, in mechanical engineering, right? I was supposed to be in the non-IT field, but somehow I ended up on a IT track, which is
Okay.
the subject of the webinar. So I would love to share my experience on how I ended up on this IT career path in some time. But that's what I did, right? So close to a decade experience in IT, especially in data science and AI. I 7-8 years back I started teaching as well, right? Again, educating people to come into not only IT, more towards data analytics and AI, because that's where a lot of opportunities are, right?
Okay.
Along the way, I wrote 6 books as well, along with Apress, and I'm writing the seventh one currently, right? And
Okay.
I just like this. I go to webinars, as speaker, as conferences, and just trying to educate people to get into the trending or topics or the opportunities, so that most of the people utilize it and build their career. So yeah, that's pretty much about me for now.
So Adarsha, what you said
Mhm.
is you moved on from being into mechanical as a field into data analysis and data science.
That's correct.
Right? I
Yes.
mean, how did that transition happen? What caught your interest?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, when I was having bit of interest towards automotive industry, right? Auto,
Okay.
basically, the cars and the bikes, right? And I thought that I should get into mechanical engineering.
Okay.
But once I complete the engineering, then I realized it's not the same. So, and that I didn't want to continue, into non-IT field, because of so many reasons, right? By the end of the end of my fourth year, I got to kind of realize that the non-IT category is there from what, 70-80 years, right from the
Mm.
independence, right?
Easily,
So we
yes. Yeah.
have been
Yes.
working into manufacturing, right? So many government jobs, right? The problem that I felt a decade ago was that those jobs are very less, right? And they are
Okay.
stagnant. And if you want to work hard and grow, there is not much of a opportunity or a room there, right?
Okay. Okay.
And that's what kind of stuck me, right? And then just like you guys, I met few people, and then kind of realized that uh, movie IT, probably 20 years, 10, 15 years old back then, right? And there were data analytics itself was just getting started. Now there is a lot of boom, but you know it was just getting started back then as well, right? So I thought, let me take a shot at it, right? Went to an institute, learned the basic stuff, right? And again, I didn't want to, I didn't like the coding part as well when I was doing my BE. C++,
Okay.
I used to hate, right? So I didn't want to be, too much into the coding as well, right? And not non-IT as well, right? So I want to be there in the IT, but something that suits me, right? Something that I like, right? And I ended up, choosing data analytics, and
Okay.
I joined a company as data analyst. Then I became a business analyst, then data scientist, and now I am working as
Okay.
data science manager, right?
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
yeah, that's been the journey. So it's more towards opportunities, right? As well as what interests me, made take this career path.
Amazing, amazing. So, see, I am others right here when you're speaking to me. This I am myself from a mechanical background, so I can relate to it very
Oh.
much. It's almost like being a kid in a candy land where I get to ask as many questions as I want, right? And then basically take it up. So, okay, so because I would borrow my questions from what the learners are specifically speaking. So, if I
Mhm.
understand this correctly, Adarsh, you come in from a Kannada background, correct? So Kannada
Yes, that's
is
correct.
your mother tongue,
That's correct. Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Mine is Hindi. a lot of people here are people from diverse backgrounds. How much of understanding English is important to be into an IT job?
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious or most asked question, right?
Yes.
Uh, so it's definitely required, right? But not as much as we think, right?
Okay.
Even again, when I completed my college, even my
Mhm.
English was really, really bad, right? I was not
Okay.
able to even frame a sentence. Believe me, right?
Uh-huh.
It
Uh-huh.
looks funny, but I was struggling too, right? So it's all about, at least you need to have that basic, understanding of English, right? So that
Mhm.
whatever, when you're talking to someone, you need to be able to understand what they're speaking, right? Because
Okay.
tasks are on a day-to-day basis, tasks are given to you, right? You need to understand
Yep.
what are the tasks which are given to you, and then you can go back and code in your own language, and create the projects, create the results, and you can give it back, right? Initially no
Got
one
it.
will ask you to present it to clients and all, right? So you will always be working with someone, right, for
Mhm.
initial 4 to 5 or 6 years of your career, right?
Mhm.
You need to have that understanding skill, right? And meanwhile, you should, as let's say for example you're learning Python, right? Let's say you're learning mathematics, right? So as you're learning every subject, just like consider English also as one of your language, right?
Got
And you need to put some time towards it, right? And
it. Okay.
it's easy to learn, right? Because you can watch movies, you can read newspapers, and you can stuck a random conversation with your colleagues, right? And as you start doing it, right, within 4 or 5 years, without knowing, you will be able to, you'll be in my
Easily.
position, whatever. Even my English right now is not fluent. You might be already wondering, right?
That's
But at
perfectly
least,
very good, very good English for
yeah,
that matter.
I'm surviving. So if I can survive, everyone can survive. So
Understood.
just don't
Understood.
think it as it's a difficult thing that I cannot do, right? That's not the
Mhm.
attitude.
Mhm.
You need
Mhm.
to spend enough time and keep having conversations in English, and it will be fine, right? So you will get to
Got it.
that position. And after
Understood.
that, once you are in my position, or after 7 8 years, you will become a lead, you will start interacting with the client, then it becomes a mandatory, right? You cannot
Okay.
you know give any excuses, right? Otherwise you will be in the same position, while coding doesn't lead English. Coding is itself a different language, right? So you
Yes.
don't need English for coding, so you can survive. I don't think
Understood.
it's a big issue, but you need to have that right attitude towards learning or improving every day.
Got it. Understood. So if I actually tend to survive, if I actually tend to summarize you, for learning coding, you do not need English, right?
Correct.
But when you're sitting in for an interview, you need to have basic level of English that you
Correct.
get to express yourself a little, get to understand the assignment given to you, and then if you keep working on it, keep utilizing it on a day-to-day basis, you'll actually go ahead and do good around it.
Exactly.
Amazing. Perfectly. Thank you. There's another thing. I mean, so I keep interacting with a lot of people every day while we basically get to them on with calls, with video calls and everything, right? While we are training onto them. They tend to ask, sir, I come in from a completely non-coding background.
Hmm.
How easy is it for me to learn coding? Or if I come in from that background, what should I take up as an IT career?
Excellent. So I would like to explain, the audience, what is IT in a very plain, language, right?
Okay. Uh-huh.
So, and I'll answer your question after that, right? So now assume, basically, let's take a real world example, right? I'm trying to
Mhm.
make you guys understand, as easy as possible. So now let's say you have an e-commerce business, right? Let's say you are running a Flipkart. Let's assume, right? So to run an e-commerce business, what is required, right? You need to basically have a website where you can place the orders, right? And someone else will basically take that order and deliver it to you, right? That's a business. That's a very simplest business model, right? So what do you need to so to do that, what is it required, right? You need a website. To actually
Okay.
have that website, what is it required? Now, to actually show the data in the back end, you need to store the data, and you need to keep on pulling the data to show it in the UI, right? So what is it? It's basically back end development,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Website has a backend where the data is sitting in the database. You basically fetch data from there and you show it in the UI, right? So
Uh-huh.
to actually build this business, you need a backend developer,
Okay.
right? Hundreds of them, basically,
Uh-huh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have the backend, you have the data. Now what you need is a front end, right? Even before getting into a front end, you need a designer, right? Because you need
Okay.
to design, what should be the color. Now Flipkart is all yellowish, right? And you have,
Yes.
small boxes, small items, right? The description, right? So there needs to be a design for the website, right? So there is a
Okay.
designer, course as well, right? There are designer opportunities as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once the design is done, then comes the front end developer, right? So basically,
Okay.
he takes that design and he basically connects to the back end, fetch the data, and nicely show it in the UI. So those are called
Okay.
UI developers, right? And once you have this, right, basically you have the website. Before going live, what you need to do? You need to test it, right?
Okay.
Because if someone is user is using and he's not able to place the order, then your customer experience is bad, right? So what you
Yes.
need to
Yes.
do is
We
you
tend
need
to
to
drop out.
correct, right, test it in house before going live.
Correct.
Then for that you need QA engineers,
Uh-huh.
right? And now you tested it, now it's going live and everyone is buying it, right? Customers are placing the orders. Now on daily basis you need to maintain it, right? The DB, the UI, the database, right? Everything has to be maintained, so there is a
Mm-hmm.
maintenance work as well,
Uh,
right? And in the end, that's where my interesting part is, or that's where I come in, is basically
okay.
analytics or AI,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
Now you need, recommendation engines, right? You need
Mm-hmm.
to understand who is purchasing what items, what are the most selling items, where are they being
Mm-hmm.
sold, right? What is my inventory, how it's being planned, right? Where is the delivery coming from? How many delivery boys are required, right? This
Okay.
is all analytical problems, right? That's wherein you
Okay.
need data analysts, business analysts, data scientists, AI engineers,
Okay.
right?
Got it.
So that's
Got it.
basically how it works. That's what IT word is, right? And managing all these project end to end, you need IT, project managers,
Got it.
right? So
Yes.
this is what IT word is, right? So it's you're just trying to build applications or build something so that your business can run smoothly, or you can enhance or expand your businesses, right?
Got it.
And here probably 20-25% of the skills are complex, right? For example, backend developer, he might need to learn Java, right? There are a bit complicated programming languages are required, and for someone who is not from a computer science BTech background, it might get difficult. Only
Okay.
25% of the job, and 75% of the jobs are basically for us to take, right? It
Got it.
could be design, it could be an data analyst, it could be QA, it could be maintenance, right? So there are a lot of jobs at each stage where we can basically start learning those skills and get into those roles. It's very easy, right?
Okay.
So that's what it is. Sorry, I completely forgot your question answering what is
No
IT.
problem at all. That was actually a good exposure of what are the different fields you can get into, and in a way, you basically gave us a basic idea that around 70% of the fields available can be taken up without a very good knowledge of coding, and
Coding, correct?
that's a good place to start with. That's a good place to start with.
Yes, yes.
So, others, there's an elephant in the room. Let's address the elephant in the room rather. With the mass layoffs, firings, and everything going on, specifically with the big companies,
Mhm.
Apple's, Metas, and everything. Do you think it is a good time to start off into IT?
So, yeah, that's an excellent question. Uh, there are multiple answer to these questions,
Okay,
right? So one is, I would, if not right now, if not today,
okay,
right? It's definitely the right time to kind of learn these skills, right? because
Okay.
recession is not going to stay forever, right? That we need to understand, right? That's why
Mhm.
it's best time to learn, because by the time you will learn, you'll get to know these skills, market will open up,
Got
right? It's just
got it.
matter of another 6 months, right?
Mhm.
Of
Okay.
course, I'll not butter up, right? So market is definitely down, right? Firing is
Okay.
going on, and if you already see, it did not affect too much into India, right? It's basically
Mhm.
primarily
Mhm.
US and UK right now. Let's
Mhm.
assume even if it comes to India as much as we think, right? It's
Okay.
there, but it's not to that extent, right? But it's temporary,
Okay.
right? So that's wherein when again things will, because see what is recession, right? So basically the investment has frozen, right? So the
Okay.
investment
Mhm.
is not coming into startups or the companies, right? They're
Okay.
just being conservative, right? They're not taking random projects, right? They're basically trying to save, right? But
Got it.
when this things goes down again, in how long you can keep the money, right? So it has to come back to the market,
So
and when
it's more like, I'm sorry, here I'm sorry, I'm being a little curious and coming in. So it's more like, so you learn it now, you take up those 6 7 months, and thereafter by the time the recession is out, you will be ready to actually take up a job.
correct, exactly, right? And
Got it.
it will open up, and you will have a lot of opportunities after 6 months,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
by then you should be ready, right? As I told you, this is one way of thinking, right? And other ways, for there are certain skill sets, the
Okay.
hire the hiring did not stop, even the firing is not happening for certain type of skill sets, right? It's a
What are
IT,
those? So
right?
eager to know.
Yeah, exactly. So one of them is basically definitely into AI,
Okay.
right? Not because I mean, yeah, I'm just taking it up, right? But uh, analytics is definitely a basic need for each and every business,
Hmm.
right? So
Okay.
there, I'm not sure. Again, within AI, there are a lot of things, right? If you're doing a fancy stuff, then of course, kind of the investment is getting frozen there. But the basic things, of data analytics, you cannot just
Hmm.
stop it, right? So you
Ah.
need to keep on, uh, crunching the data and trying to get the insights, right?
Hmm.
So that is
Got it.
definitely one, right?
Okay.
And even the development work, right? The front end and back end, right? You cannot
Hmm.
just take it away that easily, right?
Got it.
So yeah, there are things. QA is something that is getting affected because you can automate there, right? And since you can automate things, the people are getting fired. So QA is bit of in dilemma, right?
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
there are key skills that are required which you cannot just simply take away, right? So
Got it.
yeah, that is another way of looking at things, right? And the
Uh,
positive side is, as I told, India is still uh, the investment that the coming towards India is huge, right? So it's
mhm.
only going to in a positive way, and jobs will develop for sure, right?
Got it.
So
Got it.
it's
So,
if it's
uh, I
go ahead.
I feel this is a very apt question asking you, others. So
Mhm.
I am. Let's take up me. I am someone uh, who is. So this is a very again a very recent and a very frequently asked question. There are people from non-coding backgrounds, non-IT backgrounds, who are paid as much as 10, 12 lakhs already. What is, I mean, if they want to switch to IT today, how should they basically look at it?
Yeah, sure. Again, a lot of people ask this question, right? Do I have to
Yeah.
start from 3 lakhs again? Right? I believe that's what your
Yes,
question
yes,
was,
yes,
right?
yes. So they will I have to start off as a fresher again, starting at 4, 4.5. I'm already earning 12.
Correct. That's definitely not the case,
Okay.
right? So at least, if not the other, I am from data background, at least from the data or AI
Hmm.
background, that's
Hmm.
not the case, right?
Okay.
Because your experience, will be counted as a domain expertise, right? For
Okay.
example, you are working in finance
Hmm.
industry, right? Or let's
Hmm.
say manufacturing industry, right?
Okay.
You could
Hmm.
become a specialist data analytics analyst for a finance company, right?
Okay.
What that does, what makes is like you already have a domain experience, 12 years,
Okay.
whatever, 5 6 years of domain expertise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you are adding all the masala of statistics, maths,
Uh-huh,
and
uh-huh,
coding language,
uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh, uh-huh.
And that's wherein you can solve the problems more effectively, right? So that's where the you will at least get 30% hike on your current 12, let's say 12 lakhs your salary, you will get 30% on
Amazing.
top of 12 lakhs, right? If you are
Amazing.
basically, it's considered as any random switching, right? From
Amazing.
any company to any company, that's the minimum hike you get. And even here, that's how it is, right? You don't have to start from 3 lakhs. That's not the case at all, right? At least
Amazing.
in data analytics. I don't want to
Uh-huh,
take
uh-huh.
other scenarios, but for data analytics, that's the case.
Understood. Perfectly. Now,
Yeah.
got it. So others, just like I told you, I'm more of a kid as of now, and right in front of you, talking to you. So let's say I want to start off in IT, and I am someone from a completely non-tech background. How do I choose which way should I go? What would suit me? What would not suit me? Are there any specific progressions to it? I mean, specific requirements or prerequisites? What is it like?
Sure, sure. Yeah. So basically, few will have very, clarity on what they want to, right? So
Okay.
for example, as soon as I completed my BA, I knew that I wanted to do something like it because I liked statistics when I was in college, right?
Oh.
I definitely did not like the mechanical that's we have that we have established, right?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
there were few statistical subjects which I liked, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And again, I didn't want to code too much, right?
Okay.
A
Mm-hmm.
high level coding was fine, but not like Java, right? I
Okay.
used to hate C, C++, Java, right?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely not them, right? And with the interest that I have, I realized that data analytics is something for me, right?
Okay.
So for everyone, they will have they at least they will know what is their positives and negatives, right? Do they
Uh-huh.
like uh, mathematics, right? There
Yes.
are folks, they don't like mathematics at all, right?
Uh-huh.
Probably data analytics is not them, not for them, right? And there are
Mm-hmm.
people again just like me, they hate coding, right? So
Okay.
it's fine, right? You don't have to get into those front end back end developer, right? You have other
Uh-huh.
skills like IT project manager. There is no coding, nothing, right? You just need to know how to
Uh-huh.
manage a project, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's IT, that's project manager, right? And there are a
Okay.
lot of people who are really good at designing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially women's, right? So I'm not making a gender differentiation here, but as I felt that they're mostly you know they do better designs than men, right? So they have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of designing jobs as well, right? And what they need to do is
Okay.
very few basic design tools like uh, Canva, or there are like a couple of tools, right? So then there are a lot of designing jobs as well, right? There is no coding,
Got it.
right? There is no
Got it.
mathematics. It's just purely
Mm-hmm.
your creativity,
Okay.
right?
So
And
yeah.
and also the QA, like you don't want to do any of these things, then there is of course you like to test something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
always want to question something, right? That is
Mm-hmm.
QA engineer. You always want to see, if I do this, will it work or not, right?
Okay.
Naturally they are like that, right? So based on your personality and your interest, right, you can find the right job for you. And if of course the last part, if you really love coding, right, there are a lot of people like that. And
Mm-hmm.
front end back end, you anyway have those options, right?
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I chose based on what I like, right? And that's how everyone should do. That's wherein you will be able to survive for longer, right? If you do something that you
Uh-huh.
don't like just for the money, you might not stay for longer period, right?
Stay
So
for longer period.
correct, right?
Got
So
it. Got
just
it.
at least 25% of the job that you do, you should be doing something that you like.
Got it. So basically, Adarsh, if I understand this correctly, multiple questions answered here. So I
Mhm.
do not love maths. I still have prospects in coding. I do not love coding. So in IT jobs, I do not love coding. I'll still have prospects in IT jobs.
Correct,
That's always
correct.
there,
Yes.
right? Perfectly, perfectly. And when you say all of this, is it so you said you did not like coding a lot, but statistics was something that you really liked in college, right?
Correct.
So let's say I want to be someone who wants to start off in the field of data analysis, data science. How much math is expected of me, specifically when I was not that good at maths in my college or my school?
Oh, again, you don't have to be pro here, right? You
Okay.
don't have to know everything, right? It's just
Uh-huh.
a
Uh-huh.
basic statistics, right? So if you actually think, how much of statistics that you're using in day-to-day life, it's very
Mm-hmm.
minimal. It's just like mean, median, mode, right? Variance, right? So it's a
Mm-hmm.
very basic things that we have been learning from fifth standard, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So again, you don't have to again when I say mathematics or statistics, you're not deriving an equation, right? You are not like in LHS is equal to RHS, right?
Yes.
You just need to understand the concept, and everything else the tool will do, right? So the why do we
Uh-huh.
have tools like Python or R or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? So they will do the all the processing and give you the results. You just need to
Okay.
understand what is going on, right? What you need to do, what is the right way to
Uh-huh.
approach this problem, and what technique
Mm-hmm.
will help you to solve this problem. That's all,
Got
right?
it.
So you don't
Okay.
have to be a champion in mathematics as well. It's all basic
Got it.
understanding, and see what problem could be solved using what technique. That's all it is.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Amazing. Amazing. Perfectly makes a lot of sense. So that was a lot of questions that I would take up, and before I exactly move on, trying to talk to the learners itself, I feel a lot of them have been trying to interact with each other and see, guys. If you see my screen as of now, the Indian job market by 2025 is US dollars 100 billion, right? That's an amazing job market to take up, and the kind of growth that you get is amazingly well done, right? So, being into IT today, make sure that your growth levels are unprecedented and better than any other fields that you can plan on, correct? So, make sure you utilize the most of it, and the best way to do things, just like others said as of now, is to exactly go ahead, see what you like, see what you not like, and choose it accordingly, right? Now, talking about, I feel that was the happy part. Others, while I was talking to you, we could basically cover up how does backend, front end, data analysis, IT product manager, QA, and everything works, right? So, not taking up a lot of time here, right? Talking about the stages of creating a product in IT. Others, can we give it 2 minutes so that every one of us tend to understand on how does each of these fields contribute? I know you've already done that, but a brief explanation to it again would be really helpful.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is what I explained, with a Flipkart example, right? So
Yes.
basically, you need to understand, the business requirements, right? And that's what the business analyst do, right? Again, he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
need to learn coding, right?
Mm-hmm.
He needs to understand the business, right? The domain
Mm-hmm.
knowledge is really important to
Mm-hmm.
actually collect those requirements, right? How
Okay.
e-commerce works, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that he
Mm-hmm.
can, bring all the requirements, right? Give it to the
Okay.
project manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what
Mm-hmm.
project manager does, right? So he
Okay.
makes sure that an end-to-end project is delivered,
Correct.
right? And he's
Correct.
basically the bridge between the business, right, the business side of
Mm-hmm.
things, and
Mm-hmm.
the technology side of
The
things,
technology
right?
side of things. Yes.
Correct,
Yes.
right? So he just need to understand high level of technology, and he will again for a project manager, English is a must skill because on day in day out he will be just interacting with the people, right, between
Got it.
business and the technology team. So the English
Mm-hmm.
becomes the key skill for project manager, right?
Project
And
managers.
then,
Yeah.
as I told you, design, right? The designer jobs, right? And then once the design is fixed, you go into the coding. It could be a front end and the back end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once the product is ready, right, or the website is ready, you need to do a basic tests, which is a QA engineer would do, and
Mm-hmm.
again maintenance, as I told you, right? And the last part, once you have a lot of customers coming in, when the product is live, you are collecting data from each and every customer or each and
Uh,
every transaction, right?
uh-huh.
And you
Uh-huh.
will have to analyze those transactions for to make right decisions, right? That's where
Correct.
the data analyst will come in, right? So
Uh-huh.
it's an
Got it.
iterative process, right? It's again connected to business analyst if you see, because you might see, few of the, interesting things while you are analyzing, and you would like to change it in your website based on the insights, right? That's why it's a
Hmm.
complete cycle, and it's always improvising and, and enhancing.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you so much, others. I mean, that's pretty much what we basically wanted to understand and things, right? So, talking a little about things and basically helping our learners understand, I would not take much of time, and I was basically want to open the floor up for, I would want to remind my learners that the offer for the course is still live. You still get a lot of discount, which comes to 7690 per month, from almost 11,500 rupees per month to 7650, just because you're in the webinar, wherein you get to interact with one of the academic counselors and you get to ask all your questions, right? And that's how you should go through, right? Without much delay thereof, right? Without much things, I would want to open up the floor for some bout of Q&A, right? So, guys, I feel you would have a lot of questions here. So why don't we go ahead and ask those questions? So in fact, what we have done is, others, I have my team along with Manoj available here. We have accumulated all the questions that are, so I'll quickly run that by you, right? And we'll quickly check out with what answers come from you, and that would actually be a lot of motivation for us. So let's say there are questions. This is a question from Tanveer, which says, I want to be a techpreneur and I'm still class 12th. What should be my path?
Sorry, could you please repeat that?
Yeah, this question is from Tanveer. I want to be a techpreneur, but I'm still
Okay.
class 12th. What should be my path?
Okay, excellent. First of all, congratulations to at least have that thinking, right? When I was 12th, I was just reading textbook all day long, right? So,
Uh-huh.
uh, the generation has changed, and I'm happy for that, right? And congratulations for that.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, you have the time, right? While you have the time, you need to make sure that if you really want to be that, techpreneur, you two things, individually, two things you need to keep on learning, or
Mm-hmm.
probably more than
Mm-hmm.
that. One
Mm-hmm.
is, since you specifically mentioned tech,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be enabled with all the latest technology. You need
Okay.
to at least have the knowledge of all the latest technology, right?
Okay.
It
Okay.
could be the AI, right? It could be the augmented reality, right? It
Mm-hmm.
could be IoT, right? It could be anything, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
never know where is your idea coming from, right? So you need to
Okay.
have basic knowledge of all the latest tech that is going on, right?
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
specialize in at least one technology, right?
Okay.
It could be AI or it could be something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. You need to have at least in-depth knowledge of one technology, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That is, that is what it will give you more confidence in building something,
Got it.
right? Building a
Got it.
company, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's the first thing. Second thing, again, most of us, at least, while, back we were, while we were going for college or, schools, the exposure
Mm-hmm.
that we didn't get is basically how to build your profile, right? How to build your company, the basic understanding of, finance, right?
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
what is that is required to, build. As you are already interested in tech, I'm definitely sure you will build something, right? But
Mm-hmm.
once you
Mm-hmm.
build it, how you sell it,
Okay.
right? How you market it,
Okay.
right? These are the skills that they won't teach you in the college, right? Which is bad, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you need to, keep your eye out for that as well, right? So you build something. How do you market yourself as well as the product that you build, right? So that you will get
Okay.
users, or, you'll bring the revenue, right?
Okay.
And if you
Got
do
it.
these things, which will always, the third, which is basically, connections, right? Talk to more people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see what they are up to, right? And see how you can collaborate, right? So
Got it.
these are things that, nobody will teach you, right? It's just something that you have to
For
kind of
you
jump.
to go ahead and take up. Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Got
what
it.
I could give him as a tip, which probably I was not able to do back then, right? I'm
Got
kind
it.
of jealous of you as well. So just start doing it, right? So build something,
Uh-huh.
see how you can build your own profile and sell yourself
Got
as
it.
well as the company.
So others, that was amazing. Exactly just like you said, a little jealous. I feel I could actually think that way while I was in class 12. That would have been amazing. But moving on, I have this question from Naveen. I think very opt question: online or offline IT course, which is of more value or more expected by employers for job opportunities?
It doesn't matter. At least from my perspective, it doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
Only it matters
Uh-huh.
is do you have the right skills,
Okay.
and do the tasks that are given to you, right? So if you
Uh-huh.
have, it doesn't matter how you learn those skills. You
Uh-huh.
learn from online, offline, YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
matter, right? As long as
Mm-hmm.
you have a mentor, it's better because you will go in the right direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do things on your own, there is a chance that you will kind of end up nowhere, right?
Okay.
But online, offline, it doesn't make
Doesn't
a
make
really
much of a
much difference.
difference.
Yes.
Uh-huh, okay. Now, this is another one question that I would want to ask, and I preferably think the last two questions that we'll take up, Adarsh. Right.
Mhm.
We know the time constraint that you're running by. Thank you for being here in the evening. But again, I would want to do that. So this is Karthik Rajesh. He says, "Sir, I completed this guy Rajesh completed his graduation in 2014, and now he has 6 years of gap. Can he enter into IT?"
Uh, Definitely, right? As long as you have a valid reason for, why that gap was there, right?
Okay.
Uh, this happens because of too many reasons, right? One is I think you try for a lot of government jobs, right? Civil services, right?
Uh-huh.
Or you want
Mm-hmm.
to be an entrepreneur, had your own business, right? And that did not go well, right?
Uh-huh.
So, or you want to do agriculture, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's a really interesting career as well, right? Nowadays people take that as well, right? So as
Uh-huh.
long as you have a reason, and right now if you have the right skills,
Okay.
right, you can definitely get back into the game. It's not a uh, it's not a drawback. At least if you
Okay.
ask me. Personally, I don't think it's
Uh-huh.
a drawback.
It's a
Uh,
drawback.
Doing
Okay.
something for the 6 years, so that will add value to your career as well.
Got it. Got it. Now, others, I mean, I think you'll find this question amazing. That's an amazing, amazing question from Seema. She asks, will AI leave us jobless in IT field?
Okay, excellent. I read this quote somewhere. AI will not take out the jobs. A person using AI will, do that. A person using
Okay.
AI will remove the jobs. AI itself will not remove the jobs, right? It's a very,
Okay.
if you think for a minute and understand, it's very, very, it's very, very true, right? AI
Mhm.
itself, how can it remove the jobs? It can't,
Got it.
right?
Hmm.
But a
Hmm.
person who is using AI can
Uh-huh.
definitely take few jobs. So why not you learn AI and take other jobs out,
Got it. Got it.
right?
Got it. Got it.
So
Got it. Uh-huh.
that's one way to answer, right? Probably it's cruel, right?
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh.
but it's not. So I don't think it's what, but what it will do is it will kind of delete the repetitive tasks, right? It will kind of remove
Ah.
the repetitive
So
tasks.
something that can
And
be automated will actually be automated, and
correct,
you'll have to be
exactly.
more creative while you do your jobs.
Exactly, right? So now
Okay.
you have
Mhm.
50% of the time that you are doing, manual shit, but now you have that 50% of the time to think and do more creative and, more, productive work, right?
Uh-huh.
As long as you're bringing value to the company, it doesn't matter, right? Whether it's automated or something else, it doesn't matter, right? So now you have to find
Right.
creative ways to, to make sure that you are actually valuable to the company, right?
Understood. So,
So don't worry about AI automating it. Just try to learn it and automate your own stuff. And the
uh-huh.
time that you save, do more, bit of creative and innovative work.
Perfectly. Perfectly. That was amazing, Adarsh. I feel that answers a lot of my questions. However, the list of questions is endless. but the time definitely, I think, has to be limited to some extent. There has to be a measure, right? So, others, repeating again, and on behalf of all the learners that had joined in today, right? Thank you so much for your time. I know Sunday, Saturday evening, being here with us, answering questions. You might had to schedule your things a lot, but thank you so much again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chit. It's nice to thanks a lot for having me here. First of all, it's always nice to talk to people and educate them, right? What they don't know and what we know, so that they can,
Uh-huh.
it will help them to take a right career decisions, right? Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you guys again. Bye bye.
Definitely, definitely. Looking forward to having you again, Adarsh. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
And guys, we have also tagged Adarsh's LinkedIn page in case you want to connect with him, ask in your queries, feel free. You'll find it in the chat. Right? An amazing session, guys. An amazing session. Literally got to learn a lot. But from here onwards, again repeating, there's a chance for the learners still available with us to win a free course into IT, right? Now, when we have the right amount of time and things, if you have questions, you can very well shoot here, right? I'll go ahead and explain the Start in IT course in total. So, what if, right, to talk about Start in IT, what if I tell you that there is a way in which you can exactly sit on 6 different weeks, 6 different branches of IT, doing projects on all of these, right? And thereafter, while you do projects, you get to understand which one do you like, which one you do not, and post after doing those projects, whether you like them, whether you not like them, that's how you decide which one do you want to choose. So it's more like doing something and then making sure that you are actually liking what you're doing and you specialize into it. Again, this comes in with an amazing job guarantee, right? And here is on the screen wherein you have a chance to win a free course, completely free, into the same job guarantee batch, right? So register yourselves. I am just waiting for the final set of registrations to happen. Amazing. In the meanwhile, I'll try and take up a few questions, right, that could not be taken up. This is a question from Kamuddin. It says, I am a BA history student. I want to get into IT but don't know what to choose. Kamuddin, a very simple idea. Why don't you try out all the trending fields and then make a choice for yourself? So rather than reading it through Google, rather than basically hearing it of a podcast or maybe asking one of your friends from IT to suggest, why don't you do it for yourself and then get to understand which do you like and accordingly choose it for yourself. So do it and choose it is the idea here, right? While you fill in your details, while you're applying for the courses, what I would go ahead and do is I would give you a basic understanding of how does SIT work. SIT works into 3 specific phases. So the complete course is 9.5 months, wherein for the first 1.5 months, right, you get to experience for each week. Let's say for the first week, you take up something like backend development. Now, within backend development, the team helps you understand what is backend development, right? And gives you projects around it, right? So you do a lot of projects, right? You do a lot of projects, you submit in those assignments, you go through this. So let's say first week is backend, second week is front end, third week is data science, data analysis, fourth week is project management, sixth week is QA, automation and testing. Then we have mobile app development. So you practice all of this, you work on all of this, you work on real-time projects, and basis what you like, basis a list of psychometric tests, basis our mentors assessments, you get to choose one field of your choice, which and thereafter you spend the rest 8 months mastering that profession, and thereafter an on-paper job guarantee to get you into that particular job, right? So it is more like it's an intersection of what you like, what are you good at, and what is in demand, right? When you combine all of this, believe me, the money flows in. right? Guys, I'm still waiting for you to register for the free courses, as well as if you're looking at registering yourself for a call back immediately, please do that. Please do that. We'll actually be able to go ahead and answer. If you have questions, you can very well write it out here. Let me answer your questions right away. Yes, Shivakumar, Saturday and Sunday leave. Very true. So IT professionals do enjoy that. So this is an amazing question that I find in the Q&A from Nishtha. Should we do MSc data science? Not relevantly required, Nishtha. There are a lot of roles wherein you do not need to have a degree. In fact, I think out of 8 out of 10 professionals in India today do not have a valid data degree who are actually doing very, very good into their course. So the basic requirement for being a data into the data field is understanding your domain. You should have an amazing understanding of the domain, and thereafter, just like others said, add on the remaining masala of basically knowing statistics, SQL. So it's more like you understanding the basics, understanding of the business, and you add on these skills so that you can help the business a lot better. So there's this amazing question by Pashupati. How do you get a job in Apple? So it's very basic, right? So you take a skill which Apple uses on a daily basis, right? Like mobile app development, iOS development, and thereafter you start working onto it. You develop something which they will be actually be able to require. So let's say you develop a very unique application for an iOS facility. You send it over to them, and that is a very good way to actually start interviewing yourselves. How long does it take? See, data science, okay, there's this amazing question that you need to understand. How do you select data analysis or data science? See, if you do not have a coding background, starting with data analysis is a better idea in comparison to data science. But if you've already been doing coding, right, it's easier going ahead with data science. It forms an easier, very basic idea. And yes, guys, this is one thing that you need to understand. The courses that we offer here, right, are completely based on practical. So 80% is of it is based on a job simulator based learning. Guys who have filled in for the free courses, please make sure you stay back. You're being here while you do this, and believe me, there's an amazing learning towards the end of it. I would teach you an amazing fun trick on Python that you'll actually be able to use pretty well. In fact, I would tag on to that file for you to use as and when you want. Right? So hit the details now, fill in your details, make sure you get a call with the mentors, make sure you ask a lot of questions, right? Because they're the right set of people for you for you to answer all your questions. Ask them a lot of questions as to how does everything happen, right? And start off your journey right away. Guys, I am hoping that last 20 seconds of registering yourself to win a free course, last 20 seconds, I see a lot of people who are really smart. They have filled in their names, a good number of times to increase their chances. Believe me, I'll teach you something really fun, and that's how we'll basically go ahead, right? Cool, guys. Let's talk about something really fun. So let me teach you. So this is a problem statement for me, right? As to how do you select a random person out of this list who makes sure that's a fair choice of someone who gets in the free course. So let me train you and let me teach you onto some things, right? That be okay? Everyone who's up for that, everyone who's up for learning something really cool in Python, guys, a yes, no, thumbs up would work. And yes, for you to win the free course, you should be here towards the end of the webinar as well. Cool. Let's do that. Let's do that. Now, let's actually understand the problem statement in total. Let's actually understand the problem statements. Now, I need to actually understand how do I select a random individual, random individual from all these numbers. So how do I do that? This is Colab, right? Colab is used as a platform to run Python, right? So what do I do? When you are running Python, I'll teach you this very cool trick which you can actually utilize in a good number of places. So maybe let's say while you're playing Ludo, you can do this. You're selecting something randomly, you can do this, and you can do a lot of things here. Now, let me teach you this. So what we do is we quickly go ahead and type which says import random. Now, what is random? Random is more of a library. It's more of a book from a larger Python, which we basically take out, right? And we run this, right? Now, there's a syntax within random which says print. Let's say we need to print numbers randomly between 1 to 10. So this says print random dot random 1 to 10. Let's see what comes in. It says 1. We run it again. It says 3. We run it again. It says 5. We run it again. It says 9. Right? Now, right? Before we announce the winner, let's use this to actually predict the winner itself. Right? So let's open up the complete list. So as of today, as of now, let's keep this to the minimum. We have got 77 people who have registered themselves for this, right? So can anyone probe it to me as to what should be the number? Can anyone probe it to me as to what should be the number here? What should we put in? So we will definitely have to put in 77. Is that correct? Because that is a random number that we want to generate. So we say, Python, please generate a random number between 1 to 77. Guys, all the best. Are you good to go? Amazing. Let's print it here. So this says number 4. Let's browse down to number 4. Maruti God. Maruti, are you here? 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 I don't see Maruti. So what we'll do is, so no, I don't think Maruti is here. So what we'll do is he'll basically go ahead and, try the same thing again. Right. Amazing. Congratulations, Maruti. Congratulations. You would receive this call. From the counselors. You would receive this call from the counselor, right? Please make sure you are available for the call because as of now, congratulations. Maruti is here. Oh, hi, Maruti. You've already won this. You are someone who gets in the free course for the complete job guarantee course for Start in IT. Very, very congratulations. And make sure you make the most of it, right? With that, guys, thank you so much for attending today. Thank you so much for attending today. You were a lovely audience. I understand there was a lot of discussions. You wanted to communicate with each other, but that's perfectly great. Asik, you can very well register yourself for the courses. You can get a call from the counselor, right? And they can actually help you understand what profession should you choose. Taha, that's no problem, Mohammed Taha. That is no problem at all. You can actually, the course is very well designed for people from non-IT, non-coding background. So that's no problem. Unikrishnan, it takes about 9 months to complete the complete data science course. but along with the job guarantee, yes. Along with the job guarantee, yes. Amazing, guys. Amazing, guys. You have been a lovely, amazing audience, right? Thank you so much for that. Stay with us. And the link to this particular video would actually be uploaded to YouTube shortly. So you can, if you want, you can actually revisit this, share it with your friends. And if you think some of your other friends can benefit of this as well, please go ahead and refer it to them, right? This way, right? And again, yes, what I understood was initially when we started off this communication, there were a lot of people who were asking, are EMIs available? So yes, there are EMIs available. These are no cost EMIs. Again, when you register yourself, you'll actually have counselors talking to you about it, explaining you how it happens, and thereafter you can actually plan and go ahead. Don't waste a lot of time. Go ahead and do it immediately. That's what benefits you most. Along with you, make sure you bring in a friend as well. That way, both of you get additional 5,000 off on the entire course, and you make sure both of you learn together and grow together. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the course. See you in the course. And thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be here for the next 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes. If you have questions, you can ask it of me, right? Or we log off till another day. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Waiting to see you on the course. Let's have a lot of interaction within together here. Let's have lots of cool tricks to learn and amazing. Thank you so much. Logging off.